Bourbonbarkeep, my name's Curtis. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Bardstown Bourbon Company, new to actually the Kansas City area this year. So was kind of excited that we started getting some of their new releases. I still see Disco 10 just sitting on shelves and sitting on shelves and sitting on shelves. And I'm like, boy, can we see 12? Can we see 13? And then we got the Ferrand 2. This is going to be Bardstown Bourbon Company's second collaboration with Ferrand, Maison Ferrand. Pretty sure his name's not Mason, but maybe I put a little too much juice into Maison. But the Ferrand 2, if you will, made it to the shelves. I was like, cognac? Bardstown? Sign me up. I mean, if you watch this channel at all, and if you're new, welcome. You're going to learn something real quick. Big cigar guy. I've done a couple cigar pairings, haven't filmed them, but try and say, like, hey, this is what I would do. But a good bourbon company, Bardstown Bourbon Company, if you will, and a cognac collaborating, that sounds like a cigar. Thank you. Let's do that. So, pop this guy, got it off the shelf. Try not to do fresh cracks here. I was worried. Spent a good bit of money and didn't enjoy the first pour. So I'm a little nervous going into this episode, but things change, things open up. Maybe it was me that night. We shall see. Let's get into some story, if you will. Ferrand does a bunch of spirits over in France. They also do cognac. So Bardstown Bourbon Company was like, hey, we did this the first time. Apparently it didn't do awesome. So let's do this again. And let's see if they kind of fine-tune this thing. So what Bardstown Bourbon Company actually did was they took a 9-year Kentucky bourbon, a 11-year Kentucky bourbon, 12-year Kentucky bourbon, and their own 95.5 rye, which, like, interesting choice. Let's do that. This is coming in at 111.8 proof. Hopefully I read that right. Lights make the gold foil a little shiny. I respect the gold foil though. As I said, this has been touched before. That felt weird to say. This has been cracked, sipped, and boy, am I hoping it changed, because at 140, 150 bucks, I got a little ahead of myself, which I feel like I say on too many episodes at this point. Maybe we rein the aggressiveness back in, but really enjoy Bardstown Bourbon Company brings to the table, especially at that $50 price range. I feel like it's delicious stuff. The other discos seem to be doing well. We love to see them on the shelf out here, if you can do that. Let's get this guy poured up, see if I missed any specs in the meantime, see if I made a massive mistake. Got this puppy poured up. I think the only thing that I didn't mention is they actually finished this for 15 months in a cognac barrel, probably more than one, to be fair, in terms of distribution and things like that. But ultimately, a 15-month finish time amongst all the 6 to, I believe, 12-year whiskey that they blended together. Some of it was sourced, some of it is theirs, as we've already mentioned. Hopefully I flash those specs up sometime at this point. But ultimately, this is why you're here. Let's get it on the nose, see what we're in for. A lot of wood coming out. I do remember, because it was so alarming, it was one of the first times that I poured something and it smelled like a cologne, which isn't bad, just wasn't sure if I wanted to drink it. But it was one of the first times that I've ever been like, that's sandalwood. Smells great on the body. Will I pour this on my body if it sucks? Maybe. But ultimately, this one smelling a little better. But it does have a lot of either oak or just dry wood to it, and a lot of like a raisin or a grape. So I do think that finish time in those cognac barrels is going to be pretty pronounced, which I feel like you do want, to be fair. If you're signing up for a cognac finish, I want to taste the cognac. So let's see. Yeah, a lot of grape, raisin. I do feel like those do taste smell different. But this is smelling very thick, like a molasses. But so far, we're getting a lot of wood. Let's see. This one's going pretty dry, earthy, if you will, if you want to stick to kind of like maybe a wine flavor to it, if you will. A lot more leather on the nose, wrapped in with kind of that raisin, grape, maybe even like a brown butter in there. I don't feel like there's a ton of sweetness on at least first kind of nosing in front of you all, if you will. Coming out a little bit, it's going dark, which is great. Dark brown sugar, maybe a molasses in there, but you do kind of have to get behind this kind of raisin, leather, and oak. I like it. I feel like you do have to kind of know going in, hey, this isn't a regular whiskey tasting. This is going to be one that's actually finished. So let's reset for a second. Let's get on the palate. That may help the nose as well. Let's see. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty good. It hangs around a bit. That is warming. What did we say? 111? 111.8? Drink's hot. Drink's hot, not in a bad way. That brown butter really pulls forward, so there is a nice savoriness to it. Great toffee. Leather pulls forward. That raisin grape kind of dance that's doing. Really enjoyable. Nice cinnamon on there. That's not bad. Little bitterness in the back, but that could be the cognac, could be the oak, to be fair. Let's do sip 2, but that's a different pour than what that fresh crack was. So, lesson again, reminder to this guy, never judge it on the fresh crack. Let it open up. Feel like there's a handful of bottles you just kind of know going in. Some of them you just kind of know when it comes to the age of the whiskey. Some of these very old ones, let it open up. I feel like one of the ones, this isn't a Booker's episode, but I don't think I've ever fresh cracked Booker's and like just thoroughly enjoyed it. I've always let it open up even for a few days. This one definitely has been probably a week at this point. So I'm almost sick. So maybe that influenced it, but overall, this palate, very different than what I first experienced, and now color me intrigued. Let's do sip 2. That is so delightful and so much different. I'm telling you, my first taste, and it could have been sick face for all I know, it was like drinking cologne, and I'm not here for that, to be fair. This one, a lot sweeter and a lot more girth to it. You still have this nice kind of earthiness in the back end, back of the palate. So this great tobacco and leather, it hangs around on the palate forever. It is kind of what I was wanting it to be when I first cracked it, especially when you're talking about a cigar. You want that palate to hang around. You want this great warming sensation. And boy, does it check both of those boxes. That second sip, more fruit started to come out outside of just that raisin kind of grapiness to it that I would bet everything that's coming from the cognac, which is great. But there is this nice kind of strawberry jam to it. But you still have this great brown butter, brown sugar, and leather that's kind of an animal. It is kind of a beast of a pour, especially going in at 111, 112 proof. You could tell me this is 120 and I would believe you, especially for the oily mouthfeel that it gives you. Let's get another sip. Let's do that. I do feel like the palate has helped the nose. That nose is really directly translating to the palate. Sometimes you get a curveball. That's fun. Sometimes you want the nose to translate, and it's starting to. This is rich. I can't go desserty, but it is a full-bodied monster of a pour, and I can't believe how much it changed. Genuinely thought I was going to come on. I didn't even know if I wanted to review it. I don't want to sit there and just bash bottles. Other people have liked it. That has changed dramatically since the fresh crack, and I love it. That could be the surprise bottle of the year, just for how low I was going in and how disappointed I was actually going in. But man, sweetness is there. You have this great complexity. It hangs around. It's every bit that $140, $150 price tag. I understand that's not for everybody, but when you pull the trigger on it, you want it to be there. And it definitely hits that tier, which is great. Now, let's get into some scoring, wrap this puppy up. We got our census categories. This one, we actually have buckets to kind of plop this guy in. What does a 69 actually taste like? I regret that. What's 71 taste like? Let's do that one. Let's do that number at this point. This one going to be above 71. Not going to lie to you. That is great to fantastic. I think I'm going to go 84. I think I need, maybe it's from the fresh crack. Maybe that's a little low. That is a dynamite pour. Oh man, I'm so relieved. Whew. Good. I don't hate myself as much. That's an 84. Could be higher. We're going to revisit. If you're a cigar guy, that's what you want it to be. That's going to pair so good with so many. Let's go bang for the buck now. That's a little flavor of scoring we have on this channel at least. Add $150. I'm pretty sure that's what I paid. 140, 150. What's $10 at this point? Let's say 150 bucks. Did I get my money's worth? I definitely did. It does have some pretty old whiskey in there when it comes to the 12 year. I mean, the 12 and 11, they're in there at 10% each. So not dramatic, but you're talking about finishing, time in barrels, things like that. So you're going to pay a little extra. I understand it. I wouldn't pay above it necessarily, but when you're talking about getting $150 worth, you give a little credit to, typically that's about 60. So above that $100 price point, proof is great, experience is great. This is one you can really sit with and enjoy over a cigar with a buddy, talking about your kids and wondering why they hate you. You're like, all I did was give them every ounce of me with a roof and electricity. I am so relieved that was not a great fresh crack. So if you're that guy that bought it and you're like, I'm never listening to that guy again, hopefully it's not me. Give it about 7 days and come back, because this went from sandalwood, cologne, which great to smell, not great to taste, in case you were curious, to that is a dynamite pour. Like and subscribe.